these children and these climbers have anything in common? Apparently not, except maybe their shared disregard for danger. And the fact that they live in the same country, Indonesia, more precisely on the island of Java. Java has a large human population, about 100 million, and an even larger snake population, of which several species are deadly. Cohabitation can prove difficult. Yesterday, a man from a nearby village died from a snake bite. His friends are searching the fields, determined to avenge him. Discovered after a few minutes' search, the poor snake will pay for the crimes of its species. It was all over before this old man could intervene to save the reptile. His name is Slamet. He's 75 years old. He's lived with snakes since he was a child and knows everything there is to know about them. So he has undertaken to explain to the young men why they shouldn't kill snakes, even if they're venomous. First of all, he says, snakes destroy many pests, especially mice and rats, which is why farmers regard them as allies and are glad to have some around the farm. I understand, Mr. Slamet continues, that you can't distinguish between venomous and harmless snakes, but it's no reason to kill them. Just keep them out of your gardens. Mr. Slamet believes that every snake is entitled to a decent grave. This one is shrouded in a leaf before being buried in a hole in the ground. The old man then sprinkles the ground with salt to prevent the smell of the dead snake attracting other snakes who may exact revenge on the village. Finally, he succeeds in convincing the young men to join him in a short prayer. Slamet is known in the village as Mr. Snake. He acquired his nickname by running a business selling snakes to zoos around the world. He's retired now, and his son has taken over. And it's no surprise that his grandchildren, who range from 7 to 10 years old, are used to living among snakes. If Mr. Slamet sometimes whistles, he's certainly not calling his dog.
Pagi, ayo mencari Cik. Cik, pagi, ya, pagi, sini, pagi. Jadi kalau ini sudah seperti kucing saja.
Being venomous doesn't automatically make a snake dangerous. You just have to gently slap them to make them go where he wants. And they like being stroked, just like the others.
Mr. Slamet's family house could be called the Snake Cave. Whether they're sleeping, slithering on the floor, or coiled in a corner, the house is full of snakes. About 4,000 of them, the owner says with modest pride. And this reptilian crowd takes part in family life, especially at meal times when everyone's favorite game is to make these exclusively carnivorous animals swallow some rice.
Makan terus, ya, ya, habisin, ya, iya bapak makan, dia makan sama makan, oh, mutain dia, nggak mau. Bapak kasih mau dulu.
Kiri kan.
Ya, minum dah. Oh, aus bener ini. Ya. Kenyang kali. Ya.
Minumin nak.
Minumin. Ya. Oh, aus juga itu. Tuh. Wah.
However peaceable it may seem, the neighbors don't appreciate the slithering multitude at all.
Sengit.
We sure don't like snakes.
Then why don't you move?
My family has always lived in this house. Where else would we go anyway?
Snakes generally inspire fear and disgust. But in Java, they're sometimes venerated like gods. This temple was built on the exact location where a giant serpent is believed to have appeared. That first snake has had many successors in the course of the centuries, and the believers still come here to pray them and bring offerings.
It is a nice and peaceful place to come to pray, whether you are seeking spiritual elevation or physical health. You may also ask more precise things, like people who are looking for a job. The wishes expressed here usually come true.
For the Indonesians, the snake represents a perfect mix of strength and fluidity, of power and beauty.
This knife I'm holding gives me security. It symbolically possesses the strength of the snake, which it resembles. It's a traditional Javanese knife called a kris. The
Javanese have developed a unique graphic tradition based on the snake, which can be seen everywhere, especially on batik. Invented in Java, this technique consists in applying patterns of wax on a piece of cloth prior to dyeing it. Part of the fascination inspired by snakes is probably due to the venom, a substance which can be either beneficial or extremely dangerous. Mr. Trubu is a pharmacist, and he has personal knowledge of what venom can do.
Several years ago, I was bitten by a venomous snake. I didn't notice a thing when it happened, but soon I started to feel dizzy. I had trouble breathing, and my head, my eyes, everything was spinning around me, as if I was drunk. And then I lost consciousness. At that point, I heard a voice saying, "Love the gods and be faithful to them. And if you survive, it will be your duty to prepare medicines to cure others." And that's what I've done ever since.
Mr. Trubu uses the flesh, liver, and marrow of snakes to produce a magic potion, which he claims can relieve all kinds of ailments, from muscle aches to kidney disease. In any case, his customers seem to like the taste of his elixirs. Triono is Mr. Slamet's eldest son. Everything he learned from his father, he now wants to teach to his own children. So he's taken his youngest son, Budi, who's just 7 years old, for a practice session in the field. The practice snake is, of course, poisonous. To avoid being bitten, the teacher explains, seize the head first, very gently, and then catch the body with your other hand.
Terus angkat terus. Nah, baru ditaruh, Bud. Ditaruh sini.
According to Triono, the secret is to suck out the venom and spit it out.
Bapaknya kan tukang ular, Bud. Masa takut sama ular.
Budi has learned how to catch snakes and render them harmless, but the problem is to find one. His father refuses to help, and the boy has to manage on his own. When asked why he carries on catching snakes when he already has so many at home, Triano says that he does it for their sake. So many people, he says, will kill them for nothing, for their skin or their venom. In my house, they're safe.
Nyatuk kemulah. Tuh, tuh. Nyatuk.
Budi is gaining confidence fast. Maybe a bit too fast. This time, he's been bitten. Luckily, his father was nearby. After he's soothed his son's fears, he will suck out the venom. Everything will be all right.
Diam dulu, di sedat bapak dulu. Sedat bapak dulu. Sedat bapak. Wah. Ini wah. Ini ya yang lipat ya. Nih. Diam aja, biasa lo nangis saya. Ah. Udah biasa kan? Udah, ayo turun. 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 Masukin dulu.
Budi, however, will not forget the snake so quickly. Nothing could make him set foot on the ground again today.
Jalan jaga foot.
Back at home, there's a studious atmosphere. Loving snakes does not exempt anyone from doing their homework. In this house, the poor reputation of snakes is well and truly abolished. After they've played with the snakes, the children will trust them to guard their dreams. On the southern coast of Java stretch the Karang Morong cliffs, where swallows' nests are gathered. The gatherers, however, have to obtain permission from Nyai Roro, the Queen of the South Seas who rules over this coast. So, at the beginning of the gathering season, the Queen is offered a puppet play and a gamelan concert, her favorite instrument. Next come the food offerings. fruit are placed on the sand, right where the waves lap against the beach. If the Queen of the Ocean takes the offerings, it means that she will let the gatherers enter the heart of her domain. And the gathering may then begin. Each team is usually made up of 12 men, which is not too many considering the amount of equipment they have to transport up and down the cliff every day. 2 scouts, always the same 2 men, are sent ahead of the team. Their job is the most perilous of all, for their long cane ladder is slippery, and the wind sometimes pushes it off the face of the cliff. Although the cliff stretches over 16 kilometers, the salanganes, that is the species of swallows, only nest in 5 of the available caves, the most inaccessible ones, of course. To avoid being tossed about by the wind, the scouts secure their ladders to the rock. These precautions allow the descent of the team member carrying the long and heavy bamboo stalks that will serve as walkways to move around inside the cave. None of the men are secured. If one of them fell, they would plummet down onto the rocks tens of meters below. Today, the team's repeated attempts to reach a cave have failed. It was therefore necessary to consult the oracles. According to them, the Queen of the South Seas must be displeased. It's vital to discover as soon as possible the source of her displeasure. A medium has been called. Swallowing glass will temporarily deify him, allowing Nyairoro to inhabit him. Expressing herself through the medium's voice, the Queen declares, "You forgot my favorite presents, the red and yellow flowers that look so good in my hair. Give them to me, and I shall let you enter my caves." After the offerings have been presented according to the rules, the team can resume their efforts. The leader has made it to the mouth of the cave. The next stage will be to throw a bridge over the top to reach its entrance. Having to carry all their equipment up and down the cliff complicates the gatherers' work. As a result, despite spending 7 hours at their toils, they can only get down to the proper work for 1 hour each day. highest tides, the ocean surges into the caves with such force that they're submerged all the way to the ceiling. Anyone foolish enough to be there at that time would be smashed to pieces against the rocks. At last, the longed-for nests are within reach. The birds make them with their saliva and glue them to the rock in the most inaccessible corners. Picking the nests off the rock is a delicate operation even for these experts. They weigh less than 10 grams, and the slightest sudden movement would send them flying down into the ocean to be lost forever. The region of Karang Borong is the main source of swallows' nests. They're mainly exported to the large and rich Chinese cities of Southeast Asia. The prices they reach are breathtaking, $3,500 to $4,000 a kilogram, significantly more than caviar. The Chinese taste for birds' nests is not a recent fashion. It's believed to date back at least to the Tang Dynasty, 7th century, and possibly earlier. The gatherers must beware of the rising tide and leave their work before it's too late, or they would find themselves trapped inside. But this is only one of the many dangers of their work. Despite the agility and experience of these men, there are still 10 to 12 fatal accidents a year on the cliffs of Karang Borong. Once the team have climbed back up the cliff, they lay down the result of the day's work, rarely more than a kilogram. Salanganes, like all birds, need nests to reproduce. If human greed destroys them all, there will soon be no more swallows floating and dancing on the breeze over Java.